Alright everybody, today we're here to figure out whether this thing is a cinematic masterpiece or a complete cluster. Alright everybody, today we're looking at that gem from 1980, Flash Gordon, that big old Dino De Laurentiis production from hell. Before we go any further, as always, to the trailer.
Klytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
I like to play with things a while before annihilation.
Pathetic Earthlings! Who can save you now?
Flash! Savior of the universe!
Strange object imaged in the Imperial Vortex.
Flash! You save every one of us!
Remove the Earthwoman. Prepare her for our pleasure.
Flash!
Don't kill him yet, Father. I want him.
He's a miracle!
Go, Flash, go!
Flash!
Flash!
King of the impossible! He's for every one of us! Stand for every one of us! He's slain the
Alright everybody, this movie was directed by Mike Hodges. Mike Hodges had several good movies. He had Get Carter, the original one, not the one with Stallone or anything like that. He had Black Rainbow. He had The Terminal Man, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. He also did music videos. He did Queen's Body Language and the music video for Flash. So anyway, that's kind of what he did. It's kind of what he's known for. Did he do a great job on this? That's for you to decide. I think this movie is the shit. Anyway, let's get going to the cast. Okay, playing Flash Gordon himself was Sam J. Jones. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but his career never really materialized into anything much bigger than this. He started out, he was in the movie 10 with Bo Derek. He went on to be in like goofy stuff like Maximum Force and Hard Vice and American Strays, and he was on TV shows. He was on Riptide and the A-Team and things like that, but he always had kind of like a troubled personality, or maybe it was just because of the fights with the Laurentiis, he kind of was blacklisted, who knows, there's a lot of different versions of it, but he appeared to have a kind of fairly self-destructive streak in him, and it really hindered his career. So, in this movie, he was still Flash Gordon, although his voice was dubbed. That's not his voice in the movie. It's one of the best dub jobs I've ever seen, because you would really think it was his, but it's not. He wouldn't come back and do looping, which means, you know, putting over your vocals over everything else. So, is what it was. Sam J. Jones, this is his claim to fame, always will be, and he popped up in the Ted movies doing this again. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, playing Dale Arden was Melody Anderson. Now, Melody Anderson was in this, obviously. She was in Firewalker with Chuck Norris also. She was in Dead and Buried. She was in stuff like Cannonball Fever, The Boy in Blue, and she was on TV shows like Deadly Nightmares and Hotel. So she's been around, she did some solid work, been here, been there, been everywhere, but she'll always be Dale Arden to all of us that love this motion picture. All right, let's keep going. Okay, playing Dr. Hans Zarkov was Topol. Now Topol will always be most primarily remembered for his great performance in Fiddler on the Roof. He was also in stuff like, you know, For Your Eyes Only, Tale for Loving. He was in stuff like the miniseries, the Winds of War. He was also in the miniseries, which I think was a follow-up to War and Remembrance, if memory serves right. But anyway, been around a long time, and basically, to me, this and Fiddler on the Roof is what you're always going to think of Topol for. That's just the way it goes, you know what I mean? So, God bless him, let's keep hitting it. Okay, playing Ming the Merciless was Max von Sydow. Now, Max von Sydow has been around forever. He was in the Greatest Story Ever Told. He was in Shutter Island. Dune. He was in The Exorcist. He was in Minority Report. Judge Dredd. Snow Falling on Cedars. There was a great TV movie called Citizen X, and he was in that also. Phenomenal actor. Still going to this day. I mean, he's older than the dirt that I'm standing on. So anyway, Max von Sydow, great in this as he's great in everything. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, playing Princess Aura was the gorgeous Italian actress Ornella Muti. Obviously, she was in this. We all know that. She was also in Love and Money. She was in Tales That Company Madness. Life is Beautiful. She was in a whole bunch of foreign flicks, and I'm not even going to try to name their names. But Ornella Muti, drop dead gorgeous in this. That's really all she had to do, really. I mean, come on, let's face it. All right. Okay, playing Prince Barin was Timothy Dalton. He became kind of like the forgotten James Bond. It's kind of tragic because he was a really good James Bond. He was the gritty, tougher James Bond. You know, after the years of levity of Roger Moore, and I loved Roger Moore too, but Timothy Dalton really made him more edgy, more dark. The only problem is I don't think the two movies that they had him in were really that great. You know what I mean? But he was actually a good James Bond. He was in The Living Daylights. He was in License to Kill. He was in movies like The Rocketeer. He was in The Executioner, Mary Queen of Scots. He was in The Tourist. So Timothy Dalton's had a really long career, really good actor. I always feel bad like he got the shaft in the whole James Bond world, you know what I mean? It just didn't work out for him. The two movies weren't that great, but he was a really good James Bond. Tough, solid, not friendly, much more like the modern James Bond is. He was just too early. Maybe that's a good way to put it. He was just too early. Okay, playing Klytus was Peter Wyngarde. Now, Peter Wyngarde had a really long career. He was in stuff like Burn, Witch, Burn, The Innocents. He was on TV shows like I Spy, Doctor Who, Love Story, One Step Beyond, The Widow of Jaffa, something like that. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But anyway, good actor. I know he was still going a couple years ago. I don't know if he's alive anymore. But anyway, as Klytus, whose face you never got to see. Anyway, did a good job. Okay, let's keep going. Playing Vultan, which this dude is like one of my favorites in the movie, really, is Brian Blessed. This guy is so over the top. You see him in interviews, he's over the top. You see him talking to people normally, he's over the top. He's the most naturally theatrical guy you probably ever see in your life. He just, everything is big and blah, blah, that kind of stuff. Brian Bless is kind of a delight. He's just a character. You gotta love him. He was in a bunch of stuff. He was in stuff like Macbeth, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Hound of the Baskervilles TV movie, Doctor Who TV show, which several of these people popped up on Doctor Who. Just a really cool, over-the-top, bigger-than-life kind of personality. I think his personality is just so huge, you got to get drawn to him. And as Vultan, he was way over the top. Just way over the top. Playing Kala was Mariangela. How do you pronounce that? Melato. I'm not going to botch her name. I'm sorry. I hate to do it to her. And she was in a bunch of foreign films, tons of movies and titles I can't name, but she did a good job in this. But she really was. She was in Love and Anarchy, which was kind of cool, and she was in Swept Away. You know about the rich chick stranded with the poor guy on the island, and they wind up falling in love and stuff like that. And that was a really good flick. So that's the whole cast. I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can. There's so many people. Let's get to the story. Okay, the story is this. We got Ming, and he is looking for something to entertain himself, and he says, I shall find this place. Oh, give me some entertainment. Give me something to amuse myself. And he turns his attention to this place called Earth. And he just wants to have fun screwing with it for a while. So he's got this machine that'll set off earthquakes and hurricanes and typhoons and hot hail and all this other kind of crap. And he starts letting loose and just laughing his ass off, having a good time screwing with Earth. But in the middle of that, you got Flash Gordon, quarterback for the New York Jets, by the way. And he's flying with Dale Arden on a plane. And of course, he's taking flying lessons. So when the pilots get zapped out of there, he lands the thing. Kind of, he crashes. And he crashes into the secret lab of Dr. Hans Zarkov, who, by the way, has known somehow that Earth was going to be under attack by forces from beyond. How? Who? Knows? Why? Nobody gives a shit. It's just the way the story goes. He needs somebody to go up in the rocket ship with him. How goddamn convenient that Flash and Dale just landed there. He knocks Flash in the head, they go into the rocket, and they go into space, as one would do. As they're in space, Ming picks up on the ship, and he brings them into soft land, in Mongo Ming Kingdom, whatever the hell it is. They're greeted by the guards, they bring Flash in. Flash has a football game where he beats up half the guards. It is what it is. Ming comes out, he decides he's going to get something going on with Dale. Flash is being hunted down by his princess daughter, Aura. Her boyfriend, Prince Barin, is pissed off, and she's got a lot of boyfriends. She's kind of a slut. I hate to say it, but this chick's got all over the kingdom. But anyway, I think Flash is dead. Flash comes back, leads everybody against a revolt against Ming. That's the whole gist of the story. See how fast I did that? I did that so it didn't ruin it when you watch it, because I just want to get to the summation. BAM! All right, everybody, I'm going to tell you why I love this motion picture. 2 reasons. Number 1, this movie is a complete, perfect example of camp. It's campy. It's farcical. It's ridiculous. It's like the Batman TV shows back in the day, you know, with Adam West and the Batman movie with Adam West. It's completely over-the-top, ridiculous farce. You never, ever, ever think in this motion picture that anybody's really going to get hurt, or it's going to be bad, or, you know, is Flash going to really die? Is Dale going to get hurt? You never think those things because you know it's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's silly. Did you ever think Batman was going to die? Did you ever think Alfred was suddenly going to get taken out? Did you ever think that Robin was going to get mutilated by the Penguin? No, because it's a silly, farcical, campy show. And this is a silly, farcical, campy movie. And it is what it is from beginning to end, with a couple little twists. But I'll get to that in a minute. But that's what this motion picture is, except it's on a grand scale, which is the second thing I like about this motion picture. You had a motion picture with a ginormous budget. I mean, you look at the sets, massive. You look at the outfits, massive, colorful, over the top. You know that they spent money on this stuff. They got a great cast. Well, some of them are great. But anyway, and they put all this effort into a motion picture that was straight farce camp. You know you don't care about the plot because it doesn't make any sense anyway. You know you don't care that there's a million plot holes because you don't care anyway. You know that everything in it is beyond any realm of logic or common sense at all. But you don't care anyway. You're just there to have a good time. And that's what this motion picture delivers. And it's so fun. But they put a little weird dark twist into it that was making it more enjoyable for people that were older. Or maybe just the sensibilities have changed. In the 70s we could handle stuff that the kids today can't. But there was like violence in this motion picture. When Klytus dies, it's actually pretty horrific. There's sexuality in this motion picture. I mean, you got the girls running around in chain mail, whatever kind of outfits and bikinis and whatever's going on. And you know, you got Ornella Muti is basically just a tramp. She's using sex as a weapon. She's getting all these guys to do everything, and she's banging everybody. So there's some adult overtones in this motion picture that made it more accessible for people that were in their upper teens and 20s and all that kind of stuff. And then the campiness and the silliness that made it more accessible for kids and all that kind of stuff. And it was just, it fired on all cylinders in an oddball kind of way. I'm not saying this motion picture is perfect. There's parts of this motion picture where the dialogue is so bad, I swear to God, I think the actors were trying not to laugh when they were just delivering this shit. There's parts of it where the performances are so silly and wooden. I mean, I'm not picking on Melody Anderson or anything, but there's parts of it, you know, where you're just like, this is just crazy. And there's parts of it where, you know, Sam James Jones, and you're just like, this is just crazy. You know, Timothy Dalton is trying to be pretty serious. He's pretty, and then you take, you know, Max von Sydow. He's playing that character pretty straight. But there's parts of it where everybody else around it is just completely over the top. Topol is just playing it way over the top, and he meant to play it way over the top. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. If you've never seen Flash Gordon, which I can't believe that you haven't, unless you're somebody young or something like that, and you just somehow missed it, go back and check it out. It's goofy. It's campy. It's fun. It's silly. Sometimes you're amazed at what they're doing. And sometimes you're looking at the effects and you're like, these effects were 50 years out of date. in 1980. I mean, there was stuff probably in The Wizard of Oz that looked more realistic than some of the space scenes in this thing. There was parts that were very Art Deco and beautiful, and where they, the clouds and the ships going through it and all the colors, but it was really just like Barbarella-looking shit at that point. And then when the spaceship is going up there, and Sam Jones and Topol, and they're going up there to meet up with Ming and have their big run-in and everything like that, when things going around into the swirl, I mean, it just looks like a piece of cardboard is the ship, and it just looks ridiculous. But it works for what it's supposed to be. Camp. It works for what it's supposed to be. A comic book. It works for what it's supposed to be. Not reality. And there's nothing reality about this motion picture. Nothing. It's just pure camp escapism that you can have fun with for a couple hours. You can just goof out with for a couple hours. If you sit there and you turn your head, you're not going to miss any great plot device or something like that. It simply is what it is. A fun little ride, a little teeny escape with a big budget that you can't believe that they took the chance on, and a big scope and a massive, massive, massive vision around a very, 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 very goofy script. Anyway, folks, that's why I love this motion picture. Maybe that's not the best explanation of it, I don't know, but that's why I like it. Campiness, and they took a shot on campiness. Campiness, and they took it to the next level of campiness. Is what it is. Anyway, folks, go out, check out Flash Gordon. Hey, the guys in Ted love it. Whatever. Who knows? Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's just a reason to go out and have fun. God bless everybody. Take care. See you later. Bye. And I wasn't even going to bring it up. I wasn't even going to bring it up because I was going to save it for this whole other segment I did on a special edition with just soundtracks where Queen popped up in. But let's be honest. Without the music of Queen backing this motion picture up, it might not have made it, because something about that shit just dragged you in from point A to point B. Without Queen's music to this motion picture, it definitely would have dropped a few notches. All right. That's all I got to say about that.